There is a lot of deaths related to prescribed opioids, and those people that end up with dying from heroin overdoses, many of them, in fact, most, their initial exposure was a prescription opioid.
The opioid crisis we live with today is lethal. Overdose deaths involving prescription opioids have quadrupled since 1999. The president recently signed an order making the problem a national public health emergency. When it comes to blame, we could spend plenty of time pointing fingers. Instead, Valley News Team's Mike Morkin chose to seek out alternatives being used right here in the Valley that will likely have you asking questions of your physician the next time you need health care.
2 days after my wife died, no more morphine, from 120 milligrams to nothing. And I was lost.
For years, Michael Peterson depended on morphine to ease the pain from a broken back he suffered as a teenager.
How would you have rated your pain?
I would say 10 or 11.
Over the years, the strength of his morphine grew to take care of the growing pain. Peterson says he never felt groggy or high, but some doctors told him he was addicted.
A number of years back, I can recall where the push for physicians and from some external regulatory bodies is our patients should have zero pain. We introduced pain as a fifth vital sign.
Doctors were prescribing drugs that relieved people's pain, but also led to addictions, overdoses, and deaths.
What we need to do is dig out of the hole and get better.
How deep is the hole?
The hole is pretty deep.
Patients, too, find themselves in a hole.
When I'm having it, it's like about an 8.
One that usually leads to more trouble.
When people aren't given alternatives, then they're going to start turning to illicit use of drugs that they're not even getting through the healthcare system. And that also places them at even more significant risk for overdose.
In Peterson's case, his life changed dramatically when federal guidelines addressed the growing number of prescribed opioid addictions and all of the associated problems, cutting off his supply and others.
You were my last resort for maybe doing something stupid.
He wound up at Sanford Pain Medicine, where they came up with a treatment to deal with arthritis in his lower back. The treatment worked, and he's been relatively pain-free for months, only needing an occasional Tylenol.
From not having any hope, not knowing where to go, find out there is an alternative to opiates. It made me feel pretty good in itself that they're not throwing in the towel on you. They haven't given up.
Is there a cost difference if we look to alternatives?
I don't think it's much greater. There is, the cost is both actually monetary and time. So some of the things that are alternatives may not work exactly the same way and as quickly, but may be safer. Most of them are covered well by insurers.
Sanford's approach also addresses the starting point to prescribed opioids, that being the doctors. Griffin points to new numbers showing that in a year's time, there have been 33% less opioid tablets prescribed through Sanford.
And, that accounts to hundreds of thousands of tablets. It's kind of astounding, actually. So that just kind of tells you how many of these things are out there.
Dr. Griffin adds that they're not done yet. They're calling for the percentage to go even higher at Sanford. He admits that doctors prescribe far too many pills than a patient may need, leading to unwanted stockpiles in medicine cabinets. They're usually winding up in the wrong hands. And that's why you need to go through your cabinets and properly dispose of them at a take-back program. Christine?
Thank you, Mike. When it comes to alternatives, there are several, including therapy, chiropractic, acupuncture, exercise, even medical marijuana. That's a subject being debated by many people on our Facebook page. And you can join in on that conversation as well. Bottom line, the best advice in finding the right alternative is to ask your doctor. Coming up after weather, officials are investigating after a woman died in Fargo Friday night. Plus, this person's choice for a Halloween costume was on display in public over the weekend. And now it's prompted questions, concerns, and even criticism. But first, it's been a windy night filled with spouts of snow. Robert, will it stick through the overnight hours?
Yeah, we'll continue to see some chilly temperatures, but the wind will slowly subside and maybe an isolated flake or two. But for the most part, the snow has ended, at least here in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Still some cloudy skies, a bit of a breeze out there. A live look outside on the CorwinAuto.com Valley Skycam, part of the Storm Team Skycam network. You can see some of those clouds still hovering above us. 28 degrees. It feels more like 15. Those winds are still on the breezy side at 20 miles per hour with some stronger gusts. That's already down to 16 up in Langdon, 21 in Devils Lake, also 21 in Jamestown. Those winds slowly subsiding from west to east, but still gusty in some places, especially along and east of the Red River. And it's giving us some very cold wind chills, as cold as 4 in Langdon, 13 in Valley City, 16 down in the Sisseton area, 10 over in Bemidji. Clouds, they're decreasing from northwest to southeast. The very low clouds, the satellite having a tough time picking up on some of those very low clouds. Underneath those clouds, most of the snow has ended, but you can still see an isolated flake or two and not showing up. Still seeing a bit of snow downwind of Lake of the Woods. Northern Plains, some steadier snow over towards the arrowhead of Minnesota into northern Wisconsin, western Lake Superior, and across the national map, a little bit of rain and snow in Utah and Colorado. Off towards the east in some warmer air, some rain over the eastern Great Lakes and into the northeast. For us, as we head through the overnight hours, we'll have that chance for a few isolated flurries, but watch that band of snow just stay persistent downwind of Lake of the Woods, and could see several inches of snow, 2 to 4 inches of snow possible before all is said and done by the time that snow ends early tomorrow morning. We're going to start off on a chilly note. Low temperatures dipping down into the upper teens and low 20s to start off your Tuesday. And as we head through the day, your Halloween, we're going to start off with some light winds and some sunny skies, but going to see more clouds and more wind as we head through the day. Some partly to mostly cloudy skies later on in the day with a bit of a breeze out there, not as strong as today, but certainly going to add a chill to the temperatures. Tomorrow morning, light winds, mostly sunny skies, mostly clear skies. Temperature right around 20 by lunchtime, only into the upper 20s. And later on in the day, with a bit more cloudiness around, we're going to warm it up into the mid-30s with a breeze developing. Picture of the day, a gorgeous Halloween shot. That's from Lidgerwood. Thanks so much to Ann for sending that in. We're going to use that as the backdrop to our 7-day forecast. Halloween, it's looking pretty decent. The kids may want to add an extra layer underneath their costume. A little warmer on Wednesday, a chance for some rain or snow, depending on where you are in the valley. Snow north, rain south. A break in the action Thursday. More unsettled weather late Friday on into Saturday and Sunday, where we could see some rain and snow. Could be some accumulations in some areas. We'll have to keep it tuned to the latest forecast on that. And as a reminder, extra hour of sleep for everyone. Set those clocks back before you go to bed Saturday night.
Gosh, I know I could use it.
I think a lot of people could, yeah.
That'll be nice. Thank you, Robert. Well, we're also following a developing story tonight out of Fargo. Authorities are investigating after a woman was found on 7th Avenue North near I-29 on Friday night. Police say Shondell Wold was found near 30th Street and 7th Avenue, a block with both homes and businesses in the area. She was taken to Sanford Medical Center, where she later died. The department is openly investigating the situation. The cause of death is currently unknown. A 39-year-old man from Daisy, North Dakota is facing a number of charges stemming from assault and domestic violence incidents earlier this year in Cass and Barnes counties. As of October 30th, Theodore Check hadn't bonded out of jail yet and has another court appearance at the end of November in Barnes County. During the last month, officers have arrested Check for a number of felonies and misdemeanors, including simple assault, child neglect, domestic assault, and felonious restraint. We also now know the names of 2 people killed in a head-on crash near Valley City. Both drivers, Kersey Groupie of Fargo and Anthony Cornelius of Crane Lake, Minnesota, were killed. One passenger, Timothy Cornelius of Orr, Minnesota, was hurt and later treated for injuries. Investigators say the crash last Wednesday was caused by Groupie going the wrong way on I-94. A man wore a Ku Klux Klan Halloween costume into an area bar over the weekend. It's making a lot of people angry. A woman at Wild White Rice Bar in Horace was there when the man walked in. And she says he was taking pictures with people in the bar and then making light of something that shouldn't be a joke. The bar owner tells us they didn't serve the man, and they agree the costume is upsetting.
Very bad taste. I mean, you know, we don't condone that. Number one, it was Halloween. Not an excuse, but yeah, very bad taste at the very least.
We put the picture of the man in the KKK costume on our Facebook page. Multiple people tell us they spotted the man at other bars around the area that night as well. A whistleblower grad student at UND says she's getting sick from a moldy on-campus apartment. She says her apartment unit in the Hamline Apartment Square tested high for mold. She says her health deteriorated and she's racked thousands of dollars in medical bills. The UND Housing Department was slow to act. Now, she says they moved her across the hall and making her pay for the 2 other empty bedrooms.
I feel like the things that they said were just inappropriate, and they were trying to make me quit fighting. So it's very hard to be stuck in my ways and keep going and fighting for myself and my health. But it's not something I can take lightly because it can affect me for the rest of my life.
Hilgers now has to use an inhaler and is waiting to see if UND is going to charge her more than $1,000 for living in her new arrangement. And the story came to us through our whistleblower hotline. If you have an issue you'd like us to solve, please give us a call at 701-237-6576 and then leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and then go to work to expose the truth. And tonight is the night. We are excited to announce our winners of the VNL VIP Fargo 4 Sweet Night Experience on November 4th. Congratulations are in order to Kelsey McLaughlin of Glendon, Minnesota, and Joe Gumke of Fargo. These 2 will get to hang out with us, the Valley News Live crew, while also enjoying some hockey and other prizes. And if you want to catch Friday's game, you can find it over on MeTV. And on Saturday, the first 500 fans will be getting a Fargo CW cowbell. Puck drops 7:05 both nights. This contest, by the way, is sponsored by Valley News Live and the Fargo Force. The Russia investigation, the special counsel gets 2 indictments and a guilty plea from a Trump campaign advisor who agrees to cooperate. The president's reaction still ahead tonight.